Yo. Okay, this is something that I never actually understood in my rational and logical brain. I actually tried to understand the perspective, I tried to understand where they are coming from, but it's actually really bizarre the whole way. So people love India, people don't love India. People are okay with Loli, but they have such a strong emotional reaction when someone mentions an NTR Dojin or NTR anime. That's so bizarre. I don't know why is that? Why is that? If you use your rational logical brain and actually think about, I think Loli is something that every person should be morally uncomfortable with. That makes sense. I don't know why people have really such strong visceral strong reaction about India, but they kind of okay, it's kind of man, it's weird. I don't actually support it, but it's kind of weird. But I'm not. I don't. I just don't mind it. That kind of reaction with Lodi, I just don't understand it. So to give you the content, the to fully understand this video, I need you to understand about two things: Loli and NTR. What does Loli mean? What does NTR mean? So to give you the whole overview. Definition for Loli and India. First, I will start with India. The India basically means cheating. India is a short form for net or rare. That's basically it. But it's basically cheating, and usually a story where the girlfriend or wife cheats on her partner. So it's kind of not that comfortable to see, but that's basically it. Compared to Loli, where Loli's definition is basically portrayal of really young kids, the children in a really sexualized manner. So yeah, this kind of really it's kind of really Loli started in the early 1970s in Japan. Well, the whole Loli came from the 1955 novel Lolita, so that infamous novel. So yeah, it's not a really good place to derive the name from. Where yeah, it started as a depiction or portrayal of really young princess personality, naive personality type of portrayal in manga. That's where it started from. When it started, it didn't really was sexualized, but as they got more as they got into the 1980s and 2000, lolicon became a really strong popular within a specific subgenre or specific niche. So yeah, it started as something that wasn't that kind of weird, but it turned into something really weird. Lolicon basically means Lolita complex. That basically means a short form for Lolita complex. So that's the two definition. And to see, I think when people talk about Loli, it's kind of seen, oh, it's that fantasy, bro. She's actually 2,000 years old. That's the whole argument for this. That's the whole debate around this. And the second debate is the people who doesn't like you actually argue against Loli, say that, oh, you are a tourist, you are not from Japan. These people think that everybody from Japan actually agrees with that, actually agrees with the whole, yeah, more people should make loli stuff. No, people don't say that. That's actually weird. People, nobody says that. Nobody says that. Nobody thinks like that. Why? I mean, yeah, there's a niche specific subgenre of human beings living in Japan who actually consumes it, actually promotes it, actually have no problem with it. Which in a way I can understand it because it's kind of fantasy. It's kind of fantasy. It's weird. It's kind of fantasy, but to me, at least to me, it's kind of like I have been in anime community for a very long time. Anime community, manga community. So when someone kind of talks about Lolia, kind of really, it's kind of really uncomfortable conversation. If you want to read it, if you want to watch it, watch it. But stay away from me, brother. Stay away from me, brother. Brother, ooh, ooh. That kind of reaction is what I usually get when people to start talking about Lowry. I don't think they are kind of PDF files, or I think they're looking in real life, kind of searching for a kid to do that kind of fantasy stuff they actually consume. I don't really believe that, but it's definitely weird. Definitely weird. It's kind of creepy. But I don't really believe they are PDF files or something like that. Or they are actually going around with stuff like actually thinking about stuff like this. Is usually fantasy, which I can appreciate it, but in a distance. I don't really want them to come around me or come. I think there's another possibility because most of the stuff that I actually hear about Loli is from online community. So I don't have a person who really likes Loli concept in my neighborhood in my real life. So it's kind of really it's not something that I actually have to care about it. I actually have to be bothered with it because nobody actually believes like that or actually say stuff like that in real life, at least in my neighborhood. So it's kind of really in a way I can understand it. In a way I don't have really problem with it because it doesn't actually affect me. But when seeing it, just from seeing it online, and I have seen a lot of stuff from online to Mexican cartel videos to some stuff like some videos like that, it definitely I have seen pretty much most of the videos from online gore community. So yeah, but still it kind of there's something really not, it's not that there's something uncomfortable about the whole Loli thing compared to that with the India. People have such a visceral strong reaction for India because they say even though it's fictional storytelling, but they have they say it's not it's not good, and everybody really goes hard against NTR, which is really bizarre because people don't have that kind of energy compared to Loli. At least in the online community, most people still disagree with Loli. People still have go against Loli, but the energy that I have seen, the amount of visceral reaction is people are more strongly against cheating, which is common sense, which is common sense. But the Loli thing is also really common. It's kind of really basically weird, but it's people actually see that and accept that as something weird, but they actually don't really go further than that. I'm not saying they should go and just dogs the person who actually talks about writes about stuff like that. But it's kind of weird, really weird if you think about it, that people actually don't go further about it. And when talking about India, people go insane amount of length to write threads on reply to the reply for insanely highly emotional arguments, which all the emotional argument actually is valid and actually good. But man, where was this energy when we were talking about Loli? I don't see that. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? And the argument that I have heard from people is that everybody had relationships, and seeing your partner cheating with you is such a punch to the gut that actually really bothers you on a deep level, which I understand, which is common, which I understand. But man, compared to Loli, that's actually really bothering you. I mean, I actually value people not cheating in a relationship, because if you want to cheat in a relationship, why be in a relationship? Just break up and then go and cheat. It's cheat with someone. It's not going to be cheating if you break up with your partner. But yeah, I actually don't understand it, and I think in my brain is actually more fictional. The cheating is actually more fictional because yeah, it's a story, and it doesn't really feel uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to see that, but it doesn't really most probably won't happen you in a real relationship. Yeah, the whole thing about this is really weird, bizarre, man. You are probably wondering why is Loli still a thing in Japan, which I also thought about it. Then I actually looked into it, and the thing that mainly makes sense to me is that the way that Western media portrays children's characters in media, and Japanese media portrays killer is really different. In Western media, people actually tries to protect the children. Even the reason the whole even the YouTube thing, the law actually passed the bill against parents exploiting their kids for YouTube, which is really common if you are in the online YouTube space. There's a lot of vlog channel. There are people who actually have more kids just so they can make more channels about their family vlog content. That's really bizarre. Just having kids to make YouTube videos is really bizarre, which I have actually seen people doing that kind of stuff, which makes sense because it gives you a lot of views and it's profitable. But yeah, it's really uncomfortable just to see that. And there are people channel who the most famous one is that Rick, not Ricky. I was thinking about Rick and Morty. The most famous is that Ryan Trans, not Ryan Toys, not Ryan Tran, Ryan Walls. Yeah, that's probably the most famous and poster boy for this kind of content on YouTube videos, which is really weird, man. If you think about it, that the kid has actually been probably making videos since he was in 5 years old or 6 years or something like that, and it's been years he's still making videos, which is really bizarre. I mean, they made I think they probably made generational wealth from that all kind of that videos. But still, just using your kid for that kind of views is really yucky. It's really it's not giving anything. It's probably giving you a lot of money, but still, man, the government actually passed a bill regarding that. Where if you are making YouTube channels or if you are profiting from your children using social media, you had to create a separate account and actually transfer money that you made from your kid, that you made from your children into that for the future, which actually makes sense. W for the government for doing that, not the government for the law system for doing that. But compared to that, in the Japanese, even in the older times and the newer times, the portrayal people, most of the if you actually look into if you actually consume a lot of Japanese media, the whole adult thing, at least to see movies or to see movies to animes to mangas depicting seeing portrayals of adults in college or workforce is really really really, you actually have to dig deep into it to actually consume this kind of thing. While most of the things is usually, most of the media is usually about high school kids, young kids, stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense there people would be more relaxed about it, because all they're seeing is these depictions, the portrayals of young kids. And the reason why is that Japanese society and Japanese work culture is brutal. Most people's most enjoyable or memorable period in their life is when they were in high school, when they were in school. They are that after exiting school, the college and work space is not that good. It's not that better. So yeah, that's why if you look from that perspective, you kind of understand, because when you get so many portrayals or depictions of younger characters, at some point seeing a kind of a lowly character makes sense to you, at least get desensitized or normalized, or is kind of yeah. And because it started as a yeah, it started as a normal portrayal for the young kids, which turned is slightly turned into sexualized. So yeah, it kind of makes sense if you look from that perspective. If you see from the cultural lens and how different the culture in Japan and stuff like that. Still, most people don't really agree with that. Most people in Japan don't really say, "Oh yeah, make more loli content." People don't say that kind of stuff. People still have debates about it, and the reason is that the people actually argue for loli are really vocal in the internet, are really vocal and have their or they're ready to talk about it. While people who are against it is kind of really, bro, that's kind of really weird, and actually ignores it. For someone like me, as bro, that's kind of really weird. If you want to do that, do that. But I'm saying if you are doing something kind of you're probably going to get caught by the police or the justice system, which is really normal, at least in my head. That's why I say it's kind of really yeah. I think I also avoiding this kind of content from media is really hard, because even something like Konosuba, which is a really popular comedy anime, has some kind of lowly things sprinkled into it. So it kind of really gets mixed with it, and it kind of get normalized with it. So most people just really watch it because it's in their it's in the anime that they enjoy, and they don't have to distinguish from it. There, most people just just consuming something comedy is really fun, is really entertaining. Just they just want to watch the entertaining comedy anime without the whole lore thing, but they can, because the manga actually put that in it, which is really weird, which is makes it really whole confusing. So they still watch the comedy, and after watching so many times, it actually get normalized, it actually get desensitized by them. I think I'm in a position where I actually get desensitized, or actually normalize this kind of stuff, which is really at this point, if you are at least 2 3 years into the whole anime and manga community, it will get desensitized, it will get normalized for you, because that's the part of the game. Actually, when you get exposed to it so many times, it gets normalized, it gets desensitized. So yeah, that's my whole rant about Loli, NTR, Weebs, people, things getting normalized, things getting desensitized in the hyper online culture. That's about it. I'll see you in the next video. If you like it, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. If you want more videos of me just ranting to a camera in a room, being lonely, subscribe it. I will see you in the next video. Mwah.